So Carmelo Anthony, his so-called lawyer, is standing here. The father shows up. The father of the murdered son.
Austin Medaf.
Austin Medaf shows up. Here's what he had to say here. Watch this. Go for it, Rob.
And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words. Okay? What he has failed into is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism. We have conservative operatives that have been posting nonstop about this case.
Can I tell you guys? Do you guys know who that is? Anybody know who that is? That's Dominique Alexander, Mr. Self-proclaimed civil rights activist. He has a criminal history, okay? He's sticking up for Carmelo Anthony, which includes a 2011 conviction for causing serious bodily harm, injury to a child, brain damage, okay? Think about the resulting in probation, which he later violated, leading to a brief incarceration in 2016. Additionally, he has faced charges related to theft and domestic violence, and now he's parading around as some civil rights leader, acting as a mouthpiece for Anthony's family. Just giving you guys a heads up on who is speaking for a kid who brought a knife on school grounds to attract me. That to me, and let's just be honest, if you bring a knife, Pat, to an event and you're a high school kid, you're looking for trouble. I don't care what happens, because at the end of the day, that should have been, he was in the wrong tent. Austin Medaf was like, hey, I don't know the moment, but first of all, if you don't bring a knife, that confrontation is verbal, or you guys beat the hell out of each other. That's it. You brought a knife, you stabbed him in his heart, he died in his twin brother's arms, and now you have Captain bodily harm to children up here talking as if he's freaking Jesse Jackson and it's a movement, all right? It's horseshit, and you named it, Tom. What'd you say this was 2.0?
Just Trayvon 2.0.
This is it. No, you said this is a BLM 2.0.
BLM 2.0, but Trayvon, they're looking for Trayvon. They're looking for their George Floyd. They're looking for their poster child.
Yeah.
We are the victim.
Yeah.
It's not what happened. We are the victim.
If the role, be honest with me, Pat, if the roles were reversed, okay, ask yourself the truth. If this was a white kid who stood up and stabbed the black kid in the heart and killed him and he died in his brother's arms, what happens? Honestly, ask yourself, what happens that day in the United States of America? Especially when they start a freaking what do they do? So ready for this? They started a GoFundMe and it shut down, okay, because they shut it down. His family moved to Give Send Go, raked in $400,000. Now they're living in a $900,000 home. Apparently, allegedly, they're renting, and they have a new car, and they're selling merch. They're selling merch. You understand what's happening right now? They're selling merch. The people are selling merch to raise money. It's ridiculous and it's disgusting. And if it was the other way around, there would have been a freaking race war in this country. Okay, let's just be honest with each other. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm looking at this right now. This says GoFundMe raised $450,000 for Carmelo Anthony and $350,000 for Austin Medaf. That's what they raised so far. So the one who killed raised more than the one who got killed.
Yeah. Why are you raising money for the person who killed? Like, what the hell are we talking about? There's a family mourning. There's a father, there's a mother, there's a brother. Dude, he was gushing blood in his brother's face while he's sitting there dying in his arms, and his father shows up and sees that scene. And what the hell are you raising money for? And that's where the BLM 2.0, what happened with BLM? Everybody that posted the black square and was all tough, everybody got duped. How much money did she steal? How much money did the girl that was in charge of BLM give to everybody, bought houses, bought cars, hired brother security and shit? Got duped. And I hope if you posted a black square, I hope you've taken that shit down, because it was all race, it was all divisive. And who do you think was behind it, Pat? I had to do, if you don't mind, I did a little research. I had to do research because this guy over here has taught me. Vinny, go backwards. Why, and who? Who's behind all of this negative shit?
Go upstream.
Go upstream. And the one name I keep getting, Pat, is George Soros. This name keeps coming up, and he's never been dealt with. okay? He's not funding a couple of lawsuits, okay? He dumped billions. So check this out. Open Society Foundation poured $32 billion into Democrat causes. BLM riots, Antifa, Tesla protests, pro-Hamas campus protests, Adam, CRT in schools, attack on voter ID laws, open borders, soft on crime, DAs, Trump impeachment legal teams, and trans agenda in classrooms. And think about this, guys. America welcomes George Soros, right? They love him here. He's kicked out of Russia, Hungary, Pakistan, Turkey, Poland, Philippines. All of them kicked him out because of national security, but we treat him like he's VIP here. Okay, he gets VIP access, and he got $260 million from USAID to help wreck our justice system from the inside. Okay, and now his money is backing Justice Action Center and Human Rights First, who blocked Trump from deporting 500,000 illegal migrants using Obama judge Indira Talwani, and all of it's funded and planned in disguise as human rights. This guy is the enemy of the freaking people, and he has to be dealt with accordingly. Period. Somebody has to do it. Who's gonna do it? Pat. And mind you, and who was it one time when I was what he did to his own Jewish people to try to get out of getting killed during the Holocaust. Remember that, Adam? Like he was ratting out his own people to save his ass. That tells you who this guy is. And until because everything keeps happening, you're like, who's paying for these Tesla guys where they put a camera in their face, the guys that are doing the protesting, and they're like, what are you here for? And some guy was like, listen, they just paid me, and who's paying for it? That's the guy. That's the enemy right there. That's him. He looks way worse right now.
Tom, thoughts?
I think you're exactly right. And I think what we have right now is there is a desire to create this massive division. And when you take a look, there are forces behind the forces. And if you go upstream far enough, you know what they want? They do not want a sovereign United States. A sovereign United States is the shining city on the hill. It is not the experiment that is the United States is working. And they want to destroy it. They want to destroy family. They want to destroy the faith structures that are in the United States. And they want to foment dissent. His own country, Hungary, won't have him back.
Yeah, what does
He's
that
from
say?
Hungary.
Yep.
That was the first one. We don't want this guy. And you know what? I don't think any of the rest of you guys should either. Well, what's left? Where does he go? Well, he'll figure it out. And you take a look the history of how he bet against the UK pound sterling and the monetary system to destabilize it. He is a globalist that believes.
Can I challenge you guys on this?
Yeah.
With something very weird? Mm-hmm. Okay. How do you like Scott Bessent?
The Treasury Secretary?
How do you like him?
Seems to be doing a pretty decent job.
Tom, you like him? Adam, your mic is too slow. You got to do some of your bubbles. But how do you like him?
Well, so far about a 6. I like his tone. I like his style. But I'm kind of waiting for the shoe to drop because there's a little bit of background there that
You give him a 6? I think you give him more than a 6, Tom, when you and I speak. You sound like you trust the guy, okay? And I think he's pretty solid. I think so far he's done okay. I like his temperament. I like the way he's managing. What job does he have? It's not a small job. Secretary of what? Treasury. Right? State is Rubio, if I'm not mistaken. DHS is Kennedy, right? And then DNI is Tulsi, right? But this is Scott Bessent. You want to know the craziest thing about Scott Bessent? Rob, can you go to his LinkedIn, please? Go to Scott Bessent's LinkedIn. Go to LinkedIn and type Scott Bessent. Anybody knows where I'm going with this or no? Raise your hand if you know where I'm going. Okay, so stay on this. Some of you, like 8 of you guys know where I'm going with this. So just the funny part about this that, I don't like to be spooked and jump to conclusion with everything. I want to kind of study a little bit more. Is there a LinkedIn or no, Rob? You can't find something? Okay, then maybe go and type in, what did Scott Bessent do on ChatGPT before becoming the Secretary of Treasury? Just type in, what did Scott, let's just look at it together, and then we'll go through it.
And Pat, his job, he took Janet Yellen's spot? This is Janet Yellen?
Secretary of, no,
Treasury.
that's Fed. She was the Fed, right? Treasury was who? Was it Yellen?
Was it Janet Yellen, Tom? Whose job did Bessent take?
She's had both jobs, I believe.
Okay.
Yes.
So watch this here.
Yes.
So he was a tenure at Soros Fund Management.
Weird.
But watch this. 1991, Bessent joined Soros Fund Management and rose to become one of the heads of the firm's London office. He played a pivotal role in the firm's 1992 bet against the British pound, an event that led to substantial profits from the Black Wednesday currency crisis. After leaving Soros Fund Management in 2000. He was there for 9 years. He returned 11 years later as the chief investment officer overseeing the firm's global investment strategy until 2015. So let me get this straight. So who works for a company for 11 years, for how many years? Go back up top. Who works for a company for 9 years, leaves, and then comes back to be there for 5 years? Somebody that hates the job or likes the job?
Likes the job.
So why would he come back?
To George Soros?
To George Soros.
I mean, when the money's good, Pat, when you're getting what you want, some people have sold their soul for
Do you
riches.
think that's what it is, Tom?
Excuse me?
Do you think that's what it is? Why does somebody work? Look, guys, you guys know where I stand politically. I'm not one that is very shy about where I lean. But at the same time, I have questions. So and sometimes some questions we ask is like, this is part of our values.
Yep.
Debate. This
Well,
guy
he
works
goes
for
back-
Soros for 9 years, comes back and becomes the chief investment officer. Go back up, Rob. Is it
No,
investment officer?
When he went away, the Key Group was funded by Soros. It was $2 billion seed fund.
So where are you going with this?
No, I'm saying his alignment with Soros was pretty consistent.
Do
It's
you
not like
think
he-
till today Scott Bessent is probably friends with Soros?
1,000. Like I would go on 100%.
But do you trust Scott Bessent?
when it comes to that type, that's why I'm happy.
Did you know about this?
I
or
had
no?
no idea.
Who here did not know about this, by the way?
And
Okay. So, but does this change your mind at all? He's doing a pretty good job.
he's doing a pretty good job.
How do you feel about the fact that he's doing a pretty good job so far? How do you feel about the fact that maybe he has been in those meetings and in the rooms and he's got the right phone calls? Why would Trump hire him? You think Trump is good with Soros? What's Trump doing? So where do you go with this? Do you automatically jump to conclusion to going and saying, holy shit, is something going on? Or does credit go to a guy like Trump that says, I want to hire a team of rivals? Like the book that was written about Reagan, not Reagan, Lincoln, many years ago.
Yep.
So is that what Trump, is this Trump's genius? Is this where Trump is saying, well, if we're going to find a way to make this work, maybe I'm going to bring a little bit of this guy because everybody hates that guy. I got one guy on here, OpenAI, Sam Altman, who's got very weird accusations. One the whistleblower, one his sister. Then on this other side, I got Elon Musk. These guys hate each other, absolutely hate each other. They're in the room together. How does that make you feel?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, for sure.
How would I do this? Because I'm trying to make Okay, so Tom is George Soros.
Yeah.
You're Patrick McDavid.
Yep.
You own the company. Okay. I am the guy that worked for him for all those years.
Yep.
And by the way, Tom has talked so much shit about you.
Yep.
I'm talking about that's George Soros hates Donald Trump. Like,
Yep.
He hates you.
Right.
Right, Pat? And now, would you hire him to come work for Valuetainment after everything that he despises you? I'm sorry. Tom's
I'm with you. I'm following.
You know where I'm
You're
at.
confusing
Would
my
you,
kid.
yeah. Would you hire?
PBD, that was a very clear question. Just answer.
Yeah.
Vinny, what's your
Yeah,
point?
the train left at 9 p.m. Would you feel comfortable hiring a guy that worked for a guy for all the years that despises you and actively has been trying to destroy you for all these years? Because everything leads to him.
So let me ask you this question. Who brought J.D. Vance in? Kelly, who is that for, by the way? You're standing there like you want to give it to somebody. Tom, can you
get
give it
in
to him?
there.
It's okay.
Tom's voice.
So who brought J.D. Vance in? Who brought him in?
I think it was
Don Jr.
Trump Jr.
I thought John
Somebody
Jr.
said Trump Jr., right?
Yeah.
But who else likes J.D. Vance? Peter Thiel.
Oh, yeah.
Thiel was also a fan of J.D. Vance,
Yeah.
right? So if you think about that. So what does Trump do? What does Trump remember from first term? What happened first term?
You can't trust
A lot of people got fired.
100%.
And by the way, we're about to get to 100 days. So far, who's been fired?
No-
The Laura Loomer situation with those 6 people getting fired, right?
Yeah.
Mike Walsh, the Signal Gate, whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
But this time around, I don't know. I think he's taking a different strategy. Let me tell you, I remember one time a couple of my guys came up to me and they said, so is this the real reason why we do X, Y, Z, and this is what we do? And I'm like, to try to explain to them how much stuff we're doing behind closed doors to get all the dots to connect is so overwhelming for them to know that I'm like, listen, no, we're not doing that, but one day you'll know.
Mm-hmm.
It took 5 years for them to know what we're doing. I don't know if we're going to know all of it. Just so you know, I'm not 100% supportive, I'm not 100% skeptical thinking this is a Soros connection. All I'm saying is we need to know that this guy worked for Soros for 13 years. And whatever that means, I don't know. Then I can sit there and say team of rivals, or I can sit there and say Soros got a guy in. I don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, Scott seems like a pretty straight up guy so far. But again, remember, this whole thing got started with what? We don't know who these executive teams that he's hired are working together or not.
Great point.
It's way too early. We were at the UFC, okay? We're in the room. It's me. Tico's there. It's so funny. Dana White meets Tico. It's the funniest interaction they have together. You okay if I tell the story? All right, so Dana meets Patrick. They shake hands. Dana's like, holy shit, you got some mittens there. What are these things? Tico's got very big hands, and he's 13 years old, size 10 and a half feet. Okay, so he's stacked, yeah. So he says, so let's talk about fighting. Do you fight? I said, yeah, he did jiu-jitsu for about 2.5 years. He says, why don't you like it? He says, doesn't want to say this. I'll tell you what he told me. He says, Dad, why would I do jiu-jitsu where guys are on top of me? I want to learn how to punch and kick them to get them away from me. And then Dana says, well, at least you know your son's not gay. He's straight. Such a funny story. But we're there. We're in the back. All right? It's us, Brecca, Marco Rubio.
Tulsi.
No, she's not here yet.
Oh, not yet?
Bobby Kennedy on this side. I think that's it, that we're in the back, right? Yeah, it's just us. And then all of a sudden, you see Musk shows up with X. You see Trump showing up. Then you see Tulsi. Then you see Ted Cruz. Then you see, who else was there? Am I missing anybody?
No.
Oh, Kash Patel.
Cash was there.
They all show up. And you watch all of them together. They're all enjoying each other's company. They're all happy. Can you imagine? They're negotiating hundreds of deals. Think about it for some of you guys that are like, man, life is just so busy, dog. I had such a rough week. I just want to chill at the house. This guy's like, all right, all these deals that we're doing with people around the world, shit's on fire, market tank. Let's go watch a UFC fight. Like, think about the way this guy's wired. And he's 78 years old. The card ends, I don't know what time
3
the fight.
o'clock. Wait, we left
2
at
o'clock in the morning
2:30
it ends. They barely leave. Gets back, leaves, does his thing, energized, not yawning, fired up. Granddaughter's there, and they're on Air Force One, and he's looking at the media interview and says, here, go, look at this. This is what fake news looks like. Look at all these guys. What do you want to tell fake news? Is there anything you want to tell fake news? And she's like, no, thank you so much for being here. Why? Let me tell the fake news what I think about these guys. The way he is energized, excited, getting all this stuff done, maybe he thinks he can get all these guys to kind of work together, and he's allowing all of them to fight with each other because he's running 100 companies all together at the same time. And just so you know, what's the biggest company's annual budget per year? What's the biggest company's in America budget per year? Okay, so for example, Apple is worth what? $3 trillion.
$3 trillion.
What's Apple's OpEx per year, Rob? Type in Apple OpEx. Okay, Apple OpEx per year. What does it say? What's it say? $12.5 billion in quarter one, which means what? $50 million a year.
Okay.
Okay? That's the biggest company in America. You guys are ready for this? Kennedy, who runs DHS, you know what his budget is per year? $1.5 trillion.
Holy moly.
That's not one company. Let me tell you what that is. That's $1.5 trillion is 30 Apple budgets. One guy is running 30 Apples. That's what they're doing right now. And they're at a freaking UFC fight.
Till 3 o'clock in the morning.
To tell you the way these guys are running and gunning and doing what they're doing. So I don't know what's going on. He's managing all these personalities, and stuff's got to get done, though. They're getting close to stuff getting done.
Yeah.
Things got to close. Things got to close. So we'll see.
Was Scott Bessent at UFC?
No.
Scott Bessent wasn't at UFC.
Good. Get your ass to work, buddy. Inflation.
Yeah, Scott.
Okay, the economy, tariffs. You don't go any. No UFC for you, Scott.
If you haven't yet joined Connect Circle, everything we talk about here on the back end, behind the scenes, the notes, what we're talking about right now, the notes that I have is in Connect Circle, unlimited messaging, unlimited videos. Behind the scenes right now when we're back there, we posted a video of what was going on. You kind of have to see it to be a part of it. If you're not yet part of PBD Podcast Manek Circle. Download the app, join it. Throughout the day, everybody is talking with each other, and it's a bunch of PBD podcasters. They're talking to each other. Go download the app. A lot of exciting news is coming up with Manek here soon. But if you watch the PBD Podcast, download the app and join the PBD Podcast Circle. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.